Hello, my name is Simon Kemp. I'm the Director of Admissions for the Modern Languages faculty, and I'm here to tell you about the Modern Languages Admissions Test, or MLAT. So you'll be asked to take either 2, 1, or sometimes no sections at all of our MLAT test, depending on which degree combination you're applying to study. The MLAT consists of a menu of 10 different tests, 8 tests for languages you might be studying at A-level: French, German, Italian, Spanish, Russian, Czech, Portuguese, and Modern Greek, and then 2 further tests, the Language Aptitude Test, or LAT, which is just for people applying to study courses with single honours Russian, beginners Russian, or courses with Polish, and the philosophy test, which is just for people applying to study philosophy and modern languages. So you can see on our admissions pages the particular degree course that you're applying to study, which sections of the MLAT will be asking you to take. Briefly, if you're studying something in the 6th form, we'll be asking you to take a test in it. If you're applying to study something as a beginner's language, we won't be asking you to take a test in it. The test itself you can find on our admissions pages. We have a mock-up of the Pearson test that you can play with to get a good sense of what the format is. When you have a go at it, you will be asked to choose which test or tests you would like to take. When you do the real thing, the Pearson system will know which degree course you've applied for and which tests are appropriate, and will just serve you up the correct tests for your course. When you start the test, you'll see it's in 2 sections. In the first section, there are 20 multiple choice questions. You'll be given a target language sentence with a gap in it, and you'll be asked to choose the correct one out of 4 options to fill the gap in the sentence. The second part of the test has 10 questions where you'll be asked to translate sentences from the target language into English. The first set of questions are marked 2 marks each, right or wrong. The second set of questions are given 6 marks each. In those cases, they're marked by a human marker who can see the various alternatives that will be correct, and also how many marks to give for answers that are partially correct. The one test that works a little differently is the Language Aptitude Test, which, as I said, is only for people applying to study Russian single honours, beginners Russian courses, and courses with Polish, and everyone else does not need to worry about it. When you have a look at that test, you'll see that it's asking questions about a made-up language. So somebody has invented a language for it. They've given you a set of sentences in that language and their English translation, and then using that, they're asking you to try and to code break the language, to decipher how it works, and to translate further sentences from the language into English, and also to create sentences in the made-up language. So, for example, the test might give you the made-up languages version of "the dogs chase a cat," "the cat chases the mice," and then ask you to work out from that how to say "a mouse chases the dog," by working out how the various grammatical forms of "a" and "the" and singular and plural work in that language. The best way to get your head around it is to have a go, play around with it, and you'll see it's actually rather more straightforward than it maybe sounds to describe it. And lastly, my top tips for taking the Modern Languages Admissions Test. You'll see from the practice tests online that quite a lot of the questions are grammar-based. So the way to do well is to make sure that you really know the grammar of your target language very well. Know how the verbs in the language change as they move between different persons and different tenses. If you have adjectives that need to decline and agree with nouns, make sure you know how that works. These kind of things, pronouns, prepositions, all that sort of thing, are the things that are likely to be asked about. So you'll see the questions that get asked through the archive of past papers. Revise those topics, and that will stand you in good stead for taking the test. Also, there is no penalty for getting a question wrong. If you, in the multiple choice and in the translation questions, a wrong question will get the same score as a question left blank, which means you've got no reason not to do any of the questions. Even if it just comes down to a guess, it's always better to have a go than to leave it blank. And lastly, the very best preparation you can make is to explore on our admissions pages the mock-up Pearson test, which will let you know exactly how the test is going to work on the day, but also the archive of tests from past years, which have a slightly different format. They're not based in multiple choice. They ask you to do some extra things that the Pearson test doesn't ask you to do, but everything that's in the Pearson's test is also in those archive tests, which also come with answers for you to check your work. So working your way through those will be the very best preparation for doing the test on the day. And that's all that I have to tell you. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for listening and good luck.